Hey, this is Drew Baird, and welcome back to Audiophile Tech Tips. Today we're going to be talking about EQing. I got a couple of questions last week, and I get this question quite frequently, actually, and I never really talked about this topic before, so this is a good time to talk about EQing. So many of the devices that we use these days come with the ability to do EQing. I've got the Audiophile Kern SP2000 here that has built-in EQ. I've got the iBasso here. It doesn't have built-in EQing, but you can download EQ apps to use for doing some tailoring of the sound. And then I've got the Mojo 2 here that's got some DSP settings for changing the EQ frequency response, but they're fixed and you can't really modify them. I've also got right here the Sennheiser HC800S that a lot of people do some EQing on. Now, why are we doing EQing? Well, EQing may be used to essentially be a band-aid, a fix, to fix frequency response that a headphone or a speaker or something can't reproduce. You know, the HD800s are very articulate, very detailed, very clean sounding, but they can be what we call a bass light headphone. They don't have a lot of bottom end. So with an EQ function, you can tailor that and bump up the bottom end. Do I believe in EQing? Honestly, I'm not a big fan of EQing from the standpoint that, you know, if you're going to buy a headphone, I feel, and this is no disrespect to Sennheiser, it's a fantastic headphone, but if I've got an EQ to bump up frequencies, then it's a band-aid, and it should have been really done in the design of the headphone or the speaker or whatnot that you're EQing. Obviously, we can use EQs with speakers to take care of room resonance and nodes. You know, too much boom in the room, tailor things using parametric EQs and so forth to correct for these issues. But at the end of the day, when it comes to headphones, I'm not a big EQing fan. Like I said, I don't like to apply a band-aid for a headphone that should have been able to do something. If you're just going to add a little bit of bass response, not so much of a big deal. But if you've got to tailor, you know, the mid-range to bring it up because it's recessed, or add more top-end frequency because there's no sizzle and bottom-end weight, I really think you need to look at a different pair of headphones, because that's not really that's not what you paid for, and you should get a headphone that's got a good balanced frequency response from top to bottom. Obviously, there is no perfect headphone. You can't get a perfect headphone that's perfectly linear from top to bottom and does everything for everyone. It's impossible. That's why we have 3,000 brands. That's why there isn't one headphone that beats all the rest, right? I do like what Audiophile Kern does with their EQ response, in that they do a very small incremental differences, so it's not as dramatic. I find some people don't like that because it is such a small level of EQing, but in my mind, you're not changing the music too much when you're using these small increments. So I really like that EQing approach. I don't like ones that the steps are just too big, that it's really dramatically changing how the product, headphones or whatever, sounds like. So hopefully I've given you a little information about EQing, the whys, the why nots. Please make sure to subscribe, leave any questions you got below, and we'll get back to you shortly. See you next week.